Hey guys, this is Mr. Havens, the Argyle assassin himself, giving them all the shivers.
This is the one and only Mike Hartenbauer.
This is Space Jesus Billy Starks.
This is referee Dan Perch.
What's up, bozos? This is Trevor Outlaw. You can address me as yours rudely. And you're listening to the Sit Down Marks podcast.
You guys are listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
You're listening to Sit Down Marks podcast.
Come celebrate pro wrestling right here on the Sit Down Marks podcast.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With DB, Primo, and AJ.
With Primo, DB, and AJ.
And you're listening to DB, Primo, AJ here on the Sit Down Marks podcast, the best podcast for professional wrestling.
All right, this week's edition of the Dropkick Discussion is we're going to be talking AEW roster versus the WWE roster. Who has the best roster? We're going to talk about it, and we're going to talk about, you know, all the way down from women to singles, tag teams. You know, if we were starting a company and we had a slate of both of these organizations, I guess, on paper, which one would we take? Well, I tell you what, Primo knows. We got rid of AJ, man. He had to go. He didn't know enough about this particular subject, so we had to bring in somebody that knows what the fuck they're talking about. So what we did today is we went out and we got our boy, our brethren, so to speak, from the Sports Wire online family, from a work in progress pod. Put it together, everybody. Brent is here, baby. Let's do it.
I didn't know whether to talk during the applause or wait for it to end, to be honest with you. I'm not used to getting applause, so.
It's your time, so shine or don't, either way.
I've been accused of a lot of things in my life, but knowing what the fuck I'm talking about ain't one of them. Sorry to ruin your gig, but.
Well, maybe we like to bring in people that we that think that they know, so you know, and make us look better. So if you know, that's kind of the whole thing, right? Making us look good, right?
I'll try as hard as I can, pal.
Looking forward to having you here, brother. Though, thanks for coming on, man. Good to see you. Good to see you. I know the boys a while back did a little collaboration with you guys, man. And now you're back.
That was very fun. Yeah.
That was an absolute blast where we watched those WrestleMania matches together.
Absolutely. I will never forget learning about Dick Blood. That was where I learned it.
Do you know about Dick Blood there, Dirty?
Now I do.
Okay.
From these guys talking about it, and you know.
What's funny is that we have there's also an ongoing thing about Steamboat on this show. So it's like it wrapped all together really good.
He's an absolute unit, right? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Basically.
Of course, he's got everything a man
everything you would do, right?
Everything you would want, everything a man would want, everything a woman would want. He's got it. He's got it.
He's
you ain't fucking lying.
He's athletic. He can wrestle. He's Asian.
Who wouldn't want to throw a hip toss like that? Real an arm drag, right?
Dragon screw.
In more ways than one, if you know what I mean. My sole reason for even starting a wrestling podcast, just so I could let everyone know that Ricky Steamboat's real name is Dick Blood. I want everyone to know. Everyone needs to know
it. Absolutely, man. I look forward to your social media accounts, but mainly the Instagram accounts. I'm loving to see who's going to be on the show each week, who you guys are going to be talking about. You know, the old talent enhancement pictures from back in the day. You know, my father being one of those guys for a short amount of time in wrestling a long time ago. Yeah, I love to see it, man. It's good stuff.
Did your dad ever job on a 1990s episode of Superstars? Because he might end up on our show.
He did not. If he had, I'd proudly dig the video and hand it over. I would.
That would be great.
Yeah, he would love it. He would love it. No. It was a couple month run in the Mid-Atlantic area in the early '80s. Is basically what his run came down to. So he was a basketball player that got a scholarship that blew his knee out, and he thought he could wrestle instead. No, bad idea. Still bad on the knees, and it was short lived. So. But good times.
I never understood that either, because I remember guys like Kevin Nash too, and be like, "Oh, I blew up my knee playing basketball. Oh, so then wrestling was somehow easier? Like it doesn't make any sense." Right.
Yeah, Kevin did it, man. It's one of those few people, right? Yeah,
he made a career blowing out his quads. So,
yeah, sure did. All right, let's talk about here what we got going on today, boys. WWE versus AEW roster. Who's better? We're going to be grading these rosters so far. So basically right now, we all are looking at the SmackDownHotel.com. This is a roster sheet here. basically updated roster that we all are kind of looking at and seeing up-to-date rosters. And we're going to be starting off first by looking at the AEW women's roster. We're looking at what they showing is roughly about 45 women here is what I counted, roughly 42 women. And some of them may even be cross promotions with other, say like TNA, that kind of stuff. So right off the bat, I mean, you gotta think big, the big time spots are Britt, Jade Cargill. Let's see who else is up top of the women's division right now in AEW. Tony, Thunder.
Storm. Yeah, Thunder, but she's out right
is
now.
up there.
Jamie Hayter.
Ruby.
Yeah. I mean, they just got Saraya. Tony Storm. I don't even think we mentioned Tony Storm, and she's the goddamn champion. Tony Storm.
Yeah.
There's a lot. Athena.
You have a lot that I'm like unfamiliar with, though, too.
Sure. Right. Mid-Carters, kind of, so to speak. They're building Marina Shafir, Chris Statlander. They kind of keep her moving, but she keeps
not Chris Statlander. But don't get me started on Marina Shafir. That might be a whole other podcast.
Sure. Jamie Hayter, she's kind of getting a little bit of a buzz from the crowd right now. She could be a little contender shortly.
Yeah, I mean, people
got a lot
vying for her to turn on Britt for a long time.
There's a lot of people that vie for her for certain reasons. Anyway, yeah,
sure.
Did she turn on Britt Baker or did she not turn on Britt Baker?
Not yet.
Okay. I feel like she should because I feel like she could be like a top. Top.
When it finally happens, I feel like it's gonna be wild.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so Athena is maybe one we should probably mention. Hers pretty legit on the roster. Madison Rayne is a veteran coming over from Impact.
Yeah.
Nyla Rose,
Kuroshita. Yeah.
I didn't even know fucking Maria was on this roster.
Yeah, Renee Paquette, very recently signed.
Recent. I mean,
but she's
broadcast commentator.
Yep, backstage interviewer, but she's definitely on. Sky Blue, potential good baby face later on down the line.
What about the Saraya?
Sure.
I don't know who that is.
We don't even know what she's doing yet either. Like it kind of looks like she's going to be wrestling, but
she's recently been cleared. Apparently,
you said Saraya. Yeah. I'm sorry, my hearing's not so good. I guess. Yeah, I do know who that is.
Yeah. So the overall average, looking at that between not ever being, it's not a flashy roster, but it's a kind of a workhorse roster more of, is what I'm looking at, So I mean, I'd probably give this like a B-.
I was gonna give it a C+, so we're right around the same area.
We're all about the same area. I was gonna say C+ too.
Yeah,
I see about a third of the roster who I've never even heard of.
Yeah,
I see another little handful that's actually showcased on Dynamite, and all the rest of them got to be on Dark.
Sure. Okay, let's jump to WWE women then, boys. We are excluding NXT here. No NXT men or women involved in these matchups right now. We're basically going, it's Dynamite, Rampage versus Raw, SmackDown is how we're looking at it. So, the women's champions jump out at you right off the bat, obviously. Bianca, newly crowned Ronda.
Yeah, former champion.
I actually, for a split second, forgot who the SmackDown Women's Champion was, though. So.
Yeah, it just recently became Ronda.
Yeah, she did.
Sure.
Yeah.
Big Ronda.
Big Ronda. We call her the Wild Boar because her promos are so boring.
Hey, I like that. This is why we get along.
Not active, but to me, the GOAT, Charlotte.
Charlotte.
Absolutely.
I mean, she is on that roster.
Sure,
she is. And Becky too, and Becky's out right now.
Yeah.
Becky, Alexa, Bailey, Asuka.
Rumors Sasha's coming back. Rumors
come on. Yeah.
Dakota Kai, Io Sky. Yeah.
Io Sky.
Their
Rhea
women's
Ripley.
division is pretty good. Yeah, see, Rhea Ripley's, when you forget about Rhea Ripley, you know you've got a pretty good division.
Right.
Yeah, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Sasha's on this. Ross Scarlett, Shayna Baszler.
Yeah. Raquel Gonzalez or Raquel Rodriguez, I guess is her name now.
Whatever her name is now. Yeah.
I'd see. You do have like Natty, Natty's not my favorite person in the world, or Lacey Evans doesn't really do it for me. Yeah, obviously Natty's a legend.
Sure.
Yeah, at least Lacey doesn't do it for me either. I preferred her former gimmick when she was the Southern Belle.
Right. I like that better too. Yeah, and then they keep flip flopping her, like she's heel and then she's babyface and she's heel. She's like the fucking Big Show at this point.
True.
I like how every time there's a flip flop, it's because it's a Big Show.
Right, I know, right? Yeah, so many turns. Yeah, Brant, looking at this women's WWE roster, man, what's your grade on this one, man?
I'm gonna go B+ on the women's roster for WWE. I think it's pretty strong.
I think it is too. It's solid, man. It's an A- for me.
I was gonna say I give it a solid A-, almost an A, because I could have named all the top girls on there without even looking at this roster.
Sure.
And with the AEW, I actually had to look for a second. All these ladies, women superstars, women wrestlers, whatever we're calling them these days, they're all top notch.
I don't think we mentioned Asuka either. When fucking Asuka's on the roster.
Oh
so.
yeah. So that's
like, come on.
Yeah. I think I shot low with a B+ now that I think about it.
Yeah. Like some of their people that aren't featured right now are like freaking amazing.
Yeah. Overwhelming. I think women's roster definitely good on WWE. So let's stay with WWE, boys. Let's jump to the men, the singles. Let's start with the singles. Obviously, the Tribal Chief.
Man.
Let's get the obvious one out of the way.
Tribal Chief first. I mean,
yeah. Let's talk about who the champs are. Gunther, IC champ still. He's looking like a machine at this moment.
Seth Rollins, new U.S. champ, former Bobby Lashley.
Brock Lesnar just showed up on Monday.
Brock Lesnar, AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Bray Wyatt, fucking everybody that you could want in a wrestling show.
And even like an underrated guy like Chad Gable, I know he's a joke on TV, but every fucking week, no matter if you watch Raw or SmackDown, you're going to get a good match out of that guy. So he's amazing.
Yeah.
Drew McIntyre, he's like a workhorse for the company.
Chad Gable too. He's the guy that if I went to a WWE house show right now, I'd want to see him on it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Let me tell you, like I said, last year when I went to a house show, I think I saw Drew McIntyre for almost the whole show. He worked his ass off.
Yeah.
So it's like he's like their guy, like their fallback guy right now. Like he's their guy. He's their dependable guy for WWE right now. Is Drew McIntyre. Right. They still have legends like Edge.
Strowman's back.
Yep, Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, Cody Rhodes will be back eventually. Yeah, that's
Sami Zayn. Kevin Owens,
Zayn, man. Yeah, might be the best thing in wrestling right now in the world.
Yeah.
Sami Zayn might be.
I would have to agree with that.
Right. I mean, right now at this moment.
Let me talk to you, L.A. Knight, brother.
Yes, thank God he dropped that stupid modeling gimmick. Thank God.
The Usos, the New Day. Man,
we hadn't even got to tag team yet.
Randy Orton, Ricochet.
Ricochet.
Ricochet. Santos Escobar.
I forgot Santos.
Sheamus.
Shinsuke
Nakamura. When Shinsuke is like one of the last people I said.
Yeah.
Sure. I mean, that's.
I'm not gonna lie. And I might be biased here, but A+.
I mean, that's and should we put out there that we've had a lot longer time to see all these guys grow and come through?
Yeah. Like all these, 100%.
Than we would the AEW guys, just because they just hadn't had the time put in the time yet. You know what I mean? But just because, this is an A, for me too. So, and.
Just to be different, I'll go B+ again. But yeah, it's hard to look at that and see a whole lot of holes. You know what I mean?
Oh, definitely.
Oh yeah, Karrion Kross.
Oh yeah, And Scarlett too. She's on the roster. We forgot about
Scarlett,
that. I know she doesn't wrestle, but still.
but wait, we have Logan Paul.
Oh boy.
Right. All right, let's jump to AEW men's singles. Let's check out them. Of course, Johnny Mox, the champ. Orange Cassidy, newest.
Orange Cassidy, yep. All Atlantic.
All Atlantic champ, yep. Wardlow.
Your TNT champ.
Yep.
Samoa Joe. You know, in Samoa, they just call him Joe.
Just call him Joe. It's true.
Makes sense.
Yep.
Right.
Garcia, still the pure champ. He's solid. Jack Perry's hot.
Technically, CM Punk's on their roster still.
Sure. I was going to say he's there.
Yeah.
Brian Danielson.
I was just going to say
Adam Cole, Baby.
Claudio Castagnoli or Cesaro, if you will.
My boy.
FTR.
Oh, Idolo.
That's a pretty
Eddie
good one. Not somebody that I particularly enjoy, but a lot of people like him. Darby Allin.
Oh, I love
man.
Darby
I love watching. Yeah, he's reckless, man. Yeah. I mean, he's getting a lot of heat right now, but I'm still kind of an Adam Page guy. Like seeing the homegrown guys.
Oh yeah.
I can't say anything bad about Adam Page when he's in the wrestling ring. Absolutely.
Sure.
MJF.
Yeah, MJF.
Promo guy.
The Jacksons, the Hardys.
Biggest heel, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, FTR. I mean, the best tag team in the entire world, FTR.
Yep.
Right.
Hack. The Lucha Brothers.
I thought you said Hack. I'm like, wait a minute. When the fuck did they sign the same man?
Right. Yeah, it did. Yeah.
Leon Ruff. Leon Ruff is signed to AEW. Who knew? Not me.
Yeah, he was doing some dark. He was doing some dark work, I think, for a little while.
Kyle O'Reilly's on the roster. I mean, fucking Lance Archer, who's a fucking monster.
Sting.
Don't forget about Hook, baby. Send Hook.
Sting. Oh man, I haven't pulled that one out in a while. Where's that?
Send Hook. There it is. Eddie Kingston, baby. Like most passionate promo in wrestling. Right?
W. Morrissey.
Eddie Kingston, the last man on the world I'd want to fight. That's the list he's on. He's the last guy I'd want to have to fight.
Yeah.
The chairman, Sean Spears.
Oh, we forgot about the AEW Tag Team Champions, the Acclaim, who are like the most over tag team right now.
Yeah, we'll get to tag team here in a second too. So, all right. So, I mean, that's
Miro,
pretty legit roster
Miro.
too. Miro, yeah, Miro hot. Brody
King.
Sting. Bandito. I mean, yeah, it's hard for me not to grade this roster as an A too. You know, just ooh.
Yeah.
I give it a B.
You give it a B.
Yeah.
So based on rating, you would take WWE singles over AEW?
100%. Any day of the week.
Brent, what about you?
I think I got to agree. I think I would take WWE too.
Right.
But like you said, it's maybe it's not so fair because a lot of these AEW guys haven't had a whole lot of time to grow on me like the WWE guys are. But they just seem like the more veteran group and the better matchups that I could make if I was booking my own show. So I would take the WWE. Yeah.
Yeah, I understand too. I would take that too. And I do think WWE, I do think it depends on your style of wrestling. But let's flip now because I think the momentum goes in AEW's way this time. Let's stay with AEW. Let's go tag teams. The best in the world right now is on their roster. You know, we know FTR.
You're talking about the Ass Boys.
The Ass Boys as you know, as mid-carders.
They are a tag team as well.
Yeah. Yep. Let's see. Tag teams on there. Butcher and the Blade.
Varsity Blondes.
Varsity Blondes.
Yeah.
We got
Private Party.
Yep.
Lucha
Blackpool can produce one. So
yep.
Yeah.
Death Triangle or Lucha Brothers can do that.
Yeah. That's
Lucha Brothers. Holy crap. Yeah.
The Jacksons, the Hardys.
Sure. Yeah. Young Bucks for sure.
Yeah. I think maybe tag team division might flip like you said.
Yeah. I mean, tag team division, I don't think there's a question. You know, we'll talk about it too here in just a second. But yeah, on that, that's another to me really close to A+. Like that top 5 is sick. I mean, you give me Young Bucks, Lucha Brothers, and FTR. Like holy smoke, you know what I mean?
We didn't even mention Chris Jericho or Christian.
There you go. Oh,
sometimes I feel like the less said about Chris Jericho, the better. But anyway.
Oh man, so man, this is an A+ tag team overall for me division. What about you guys?
I agree. I'm gonna go A+ too. I mean, there's just too much talent to not say A+, especially with. I mean, they seem to put more emphasis on tag team wrestling too than WWE ever has. So it makes them feel more special. So I would take their roster. Yeah.
Sure.
Primo's in heated thinking right now.
Yeah.
I think I'm gonna go A-.
A-. No, you can't quite give them the too big of a nod.
Well, the thing is like they have, for me, in my opinion, they have a few amazing tag teams, right?
Sure.
And then they have a bunch of other tag teams,
right?
That is true.
That are just, so it's like 2 or 3 that are just fucking dog shit, crazy, amazing, and then all the rest are just like, okay, but you know,
Sure.
they're good though. But the ones that are good.
Sure.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's see if this changes your mind a little bit. Let's talk about WWE tags. You know, Usos have been the double champs for quite a while.
You know why?
The good.
Because you're the twos and we the ones.
That's right.
Right. So they
you guys hold your finger up like that every time they come out in your living room, right? It's not just me.
For
Absolutely.
sure. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah.
You should have saw us at the Royal Rumble the other this past year, January.
Make my son do it too.
Acknowledge the tribal chief immediately.
When Roman Reigns came out at the Royal Rumble this year, we were going nuts.
Like, stand up or you don't eat tonight. That's the way it rolls around here.
When Roman comes into the arena, the crowd makes like a noise that it's different because they don't like cheer or boo. It's like a gasp. It's like oh my god, it's Roman.
Right.
All right. A lot of women's underwear soiled.
So the Usos at the top of the food chain here in the WWE. You know, we got Street Profits.
Yep.
We got
Alpha Academy.
Alpha Academy, yeah, correct. I love those guys as
Dirty Dogs.
Hey, the New Day.
Yeah. Those 2 handsome Spanish guys. I don't know what they're called, but it's called the 2 handsome Spanish guys. Humberto Carrillo
and Angel Garza.
Yeah.
Yes.
The Brawling Brutes.
Los Lotharios.
Imperium.
Los Lotharios. There you go. Yeah. Yep.
Imperium Brawling Brutes. Hit Row.
You got Laguardo now.
Laguardo.
Laguardo
del Fantasma.
I live in Nebraska. I can't roll my R's, okay?
That's okay. Right. Neither can I, and I actually am.
That Good Brothers was a big shot in the arm for the tag division too. There.
Oh yeah.
Not that they needed it really, but I mean.
And the Viking Raiders too, which I think they're about fixing to do something with them because they're showing. You don't like the Viking Raiders?
They probably should do something else. I just think
one of them's injured
at this moment. You know,
they showed like a vignette for him on SmackDown.
Did they?
Or something. I forgot all about him. I've never been a real big fan of them, even when they were wrestling as War Machine and ROH. I never was a big fan of them either.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yeah.
Judgment Day.
Oh yeah.
Judgment Day. Yep. Different iterations for sure.
Marseille and Mansois.
Yeah, the old, I guess
Maximum Male Models.
They should be like the New Ascension or something. All right, so let's grade this tag team division for WWE. Primo, why don't you kick it off? What do you think here?
I give it a B, a flat B.
Okay. What about you, man?
I see it's between a C and a B because it's kind of like the same thing we talk about with AEW. You got some really good tag teams, and then you got some whatever tag teams. I'm gonna go with the flat C as well. I think.
Yeah. I'm gonna give it a C plus. Yeah, I just doesn't think it just measured up to AEW. I think they're definitely way stronger. So looking at these rosters, here, as you know, is there anybody that we didn't mention that you guys talked about? I know we still on the roster. I guess CM Punk's still out there too for AEW. That could potentially come back or not at some point. Yeah, we didn't really talk about Jericho, whether it's good or bad to talk about him, I guess.
Full time.
But
he is he's a great wrestler. I won't take that away.
I mean, if you're starting a company, what we're thinking about, and you're looking at that paper and Chris Jericho's on it, you're like, holy shit.
think he actually is in my promotion. I can't remember though.
Something like that. So yeah, so let me ask you guys this too, off the cuff. Bray Wyatt. We didn't talk Bray.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
We just came back. Yeah.
Yeah, for the singles. Who would you guys want to be your boss right now? Would you want to be Triple H or would you want to be Tony Khan?
Oh, Triple H. Absolutely.
I've dealt with people who do cocaine and no fucking thank you. I'll take Triple H.
Yeah. Well, number one, Triple H actually has. Triple H is actually way smarter to the business. And he's in it for the boys and for the show, rather than just being a fan and going nuts.
Yeah.
And letting as Undead Michael put it, letting the what do they call them? The prisoners run the asylum.
Yeah.
Yeah. The inmates run the asylum. Yeah.
Because Triple H is more like a Vince, and Tony reminds me more of like an Eric Bischoff in WWE. And eventually that's going to cause it's already caused some problems, and it's only going to cause more problems if you're trying to be too buddy-buddy with the people that work for you. I know to a degree, obviously you should have a relationship with people that you work for, but you shouldn't be buddy-buddy with everybody. You can't be a boss and be buddy-buddy with everybody.
For sure. So we went WWE on women and we went on singles and we leaned towards AEW on the tag teams. So overall, guys, let's put a bow on this thing. Overall, if you guys are starting a wrestling company, obviously money is not an option. You can buy either one of these at said whatever price. With all of these rosters intact like they are at this moment, which will be a couple of days from now. Let's just call it mid-October of 2022. We're looking at these rosters. Which one are you taking? Excluding, we're just talking about rosters. We're not talking about GM. So Triple H don't come with WWE and Khan don't come with AEW. It's just rosters alone. You get to pick all that later after you buy it. But, just looking, this is the rosters you're going to inherit, and looking at the grades that we just did on all of these, which roster are you guys gonna go with? Brent, you're the guest here, man. Why don't you lead us off? If you going to AEW, are you taking WWE, and what and why?
I would have to say I would take WWE, because if I was just buying into a wrestling company, I really don't know what I'm doing anyway. So I would need some more, savvy wrestlers, veteran wrestlers. That WWE has more of that than AEW does. So I would have to take the WWE roster. There's just too many. I mean, when you got Brock Lesnar and guys like that on a roster, how can you say no to that?
Sure, I get it. Remo, you want to go?
Oh yeah, for me it's easy. I look at this as arena ball versus pro, and the pro league is WWE all day. So I just, the superstars are just more. There's more refinement and a lot more veterans on that roster. Just like Brent said, that an upstart promoter like myself would need all the help in the world. So
you want to put butts in seats.
Yeah. I do think WWE would be the better option.
Yeah, I totally agree. I'm going WWE too, and this is why. If it all comes down to. I thought about this. It all depends on what kind of company you want to put on. I guess if you wanted to put on, say, like a WCW company, I think the guys on the AEW roster would probably be your, would more fit your gimmick, your need, what you're looking, to make. But I think wrestling in 2022, moving forward, the production, the sound, the ideas, the global, overtake that they've kind of, had a mainstay on forever. But, they, with that roster, it's pretty spot on. Like there's a lot they can do there with that. Yeah. I mean, with AEW too, there is a lot to do with that, but I think that WWE overall just has the deeper, solid, more talent that I think is gimmicks too for long standing for quite a while.
Check something real quick for me. Look at that. Go to the. So did you watch SmackDown yet?
Yes.
Not this week. I haven't, but you can spoil it. It doesn't matter.
Yes, we have. Okay. So on SmackDown, as we talked about earlier in the show, freaking Rey Mysterio is now on SmackDown, right?
Right.
Yes.
Well, scroll down to the bottom of this page, or not to the bottom, but to the comments. And like the fourth person, that's what's cracking me up.
I don't know why that's so funny, but it is.
It's
Alrighty.
It's a user named Rey Mysterio saying, "I'm on SmackDown now. I'm currently down at ringside typing this on my phone."
Typing this on my phone. Yeah, like oh, there's Rey Mysterio typing live from his phone.
I also like
Ringside.
Kevin here, though, who's a very official reporter. Rey Mysterio is officially on SmackDown after making a deal with Triple H, as said by Michael Cole during SmackDown. Thanks, Kevin. You're doing a
Thank you,
great job.
Kevin. Back to you guys.
Yep.
Also, in other news, Jacob Fatu is an MLW. So there's that. Just throw that out
true.
for everybody.
There's that. Yep. It was breaking news. Well, Brant, man, it was fun having you on, brother. Why don't you plug your stuff on the way out, man? Let us know when and where everybody can hear and see your pod, as well as other than SportsWire Online Radio, brother.
So I do 2 podcasts. I do one with my co-host, the Mayor of Canton. Give him a follow on Twitter at Mayor of Canton. He's a pretty funny guy. We do a show called Mayor Superstars where we watch every episode of Superstars that's on the Peacock Network. We're working our way through 92. We're almost 93. We're live every Friday night. It's 10:30 Eastern time right after SmackDown on Twitch, twitch.tv/AWIPod. And I do another show called Piece of Business with my podcast partner, Glenn. And we basically talk the week in wrestling. And then we review the older episodes of NXT UK, which just got, canceled or whatever. But we went back to the beginning and we reviewed them from the beginning to, I think, the 6th or 7th episode that we're on now. And those both come out on Tuesday. So you can check that out on Tuesday.
Nice, man. Awesome. Yeah, really appreciate you being on the pod, man. Like I said, we had boys had been on your pod, and I was glad to get you back over here, man. So we appreciate your insight today, man, and really appreciate you having it on. Everybody go check out the Work in Progress pod, and with Brent and the other pods on SportsWire Online Radio. Next week's Dropkick discussion is going to be, we're going to reviewing the 1995 match between Diamond Dallas Page and Randy Savage at Halloween Havoc. So that one's going to be a fun one. So we'll see you guys next week for that Dropkick discussion.